Hi there and welcome to Larina's Labyrinth. I'm Anah, I'm the business owner. I opened the Labyrinth back in 2013 to sell psychic medium and energy services, and also as a storage facility for information and education that I could give to my clients. This was well before I started my studies of social work and counselling in Australia. And to be clear, these studies were motivated because I felt that I needed to be able to offer my clients practical and grounded strategies to address some of the challenges they were facing in their life. So before I talk about the planned content for this channel, I must outline the following disclaimer. Professional qualifications do not translate across nations, so they're not suitable for this format. Equally, none of the content that I provide should be perceived as replacing professional medical, mental health, legal, financial or other advice. The content that I upload is based on my own spiritual, philosophical or other beliefs, and they're my intellectual property. You may or may not relate to my views, my knowledge or my information, because we're all different. All the images that you see are my intellectual property and copyright to Larina's Labyrinth. My understandings are that Spirit will never ever tell a person what they should or shouldn't do, and neither will I. You, the viewer, listener, are in complete control over the information that you receive, whether or not you take it on board or whether or not you discard it. It is totally up to you, and it's whatever feels right to you. I also need to point out that in regard to predictions, my advice or approach is for entertainment purposes only. On my website, Larina's Labyrinth, there is terms of use that clients must agree to before purchasing services from me. Before we talk about what type of content I'll be loading here, I'd just like to invite you to leave comments, to subscribe, like what you see, and to share the free content to increase the reach to others so that they can benefit from it. Of course, by clicking the bell, you'll get notified of any new content when it's uploaded and of any lives that I might be streaming. I'll just give you a moment to subscribe. So the type of content that you'll find here on this channel is that which will assist you to unlock your potential and hopefully be the best version of yourself. The aim is to empower you to hear and respond to your own inner voice. So what do I mean by empowerment? Basically, it's a matter of helping you to make informed decisions, to tap into your own intuitive source of wisdom, and to help you to maintain or build hope and faith in yourself, your beliefs, and your capacity to manifest the life that you envision. So to be clear, all of my personal services that I offer through my website are designed to empower, but I do restrict the amount of consults I do these days, hence me loading these videos into a public forum. Some of the information that I share will be tried and tested by myself. Some strategy and technique, though, is provided to me by other people who have tried and tested them and found them to be beneficial. So we'll definitely be discussing not necessarily psychic development, because this is not the format to deliver psychic development techniques, but we definitely will be talking about developing intuition, learning to trust inner judgment, and I will also share insight and information on how to identify a fraud from the genuine article. So tarot can also be a tool of enlightenment and expansion of self. So I've been working with tarot for the last 20 odd years, nearly 25 actually. My poor old deck is well worn. My style is the Romany, but I'm happy to share my knowledge and understanding, including around predictions and how to use timing outcome cards. I'll also be sharing information about numerology. I'm absolutely mad about numerology. I thoroughly enjoy it. I've been studying numerology for over 20 years now, almost 25, and I tend to use a brief overview in my readings and consults because they provide a deep insight not only into the way that people act, but they also speak of the difficulty of a person's life path and their journey, and they identify the inherent gifts that may often remain untapped unless a person is exposed to them through their charts. We'll definitely be touching on the zodiac and sun and star signs. Although I'm not an astrologist, I've got to be clear, this is because in the course of delivering my services, I do make observations and links between people, their numerology and the zodiac. Plus, let's be real, the zodiac is fun. You can expect to see content on crystals as well, because I've been studying using them, selling them and expanding my knowledge about them for the last 25 years. So I've got tips and strategies for good health and well-being, and also I use them as oracle messengers. It's my intention to have a lot of content about meditation and creative visualization, and to have conversations about the differences. I've led meditation groups for many years and I've created a lot of my own scripts, so I expect that we'll be having some very good conversations when the lives start. You can certainly be expecting a lot of content in regard to chakras and auras. This is largely because of my experience working with energy and teaching. We'll be having a lot of conversations about the healing modalities. The list on the right of the slide are the Reiki modalities that I use, and when I deliver my consults, I draw upon the Kundalini. I don't call myself a master because I find the word lacking in humility, and my perception is that it conveys an air of being above others or somehow superior. I continue to grow all the time, and I prefer the word teacher. Not to mention, a teacher is simply a person that shares their knowledge, and I also live by the saying, for every student I've ever taught, they have taught me tenfold. And let's not forget, the student always outgrows the so-called master. So over the years, I've learned to keep my ego in check. So while not everybody is comfortable and not everybody can get their head around the words angels, celestial beings or elementals, you can expect to see me sharing information about them on this channel. I just ask that you keep an open mind, because what you think we're going to be talking about probably won't be what we're going to talk about. We're not going to be talking about something like Tinkerbell running around with her glowing lamp, or Michael from the movie doing a battle with a bull in an open field and smelling like cookies and acting as a magnet to women. That's not what angels are about. We'll also be looking at colours, because they can be both messengers of what a person is feeling. If you're drawn to a specific colour, you could be experiencing a certain emotion. They reveal the subconscious. So we'll be looking at healing and looking at colours as messengers. So if you're asking yourself the question, why is Anna offering all this information for free when she's clearly been studying it for years and developing my expertise and craft? Well, it's very simple, and it's largely because of the lady in the image, Madame Blavatsky. She was referred to by the Buddhists as having experiential wisdom and knowledge, and they referred to her as an enlightened person. She spent her life in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the occult, theosophical values, metaphysical aspects, and one of her quotes I came across many years ago, and it's one that has stayed with me and seems more important now than ever, is that knowledge is wisdom, and wisdom that is not used for the greater good of mankind is wisdom wasted. So I choose to make use of my knowledge to share it with as many as possible. We live in crazy times, so it all helps, so I share with you in the spirit of brother and sisterhood. So I imagine there's a few people that are saying, well, who is Anna? What is she? Well, if you can tell by my accent, I'm Australian. I'm a mother and a grandmother. So I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I was born and raised a Catholic, and spiritual gifts and psychic development were discouraged. I have recollections of spirit communication as a small child and throughout my childhood. In the 1990s, I started to have premonitions and my claircognizance kicked in. By year 2000, I was actively seeking knowledge as a means to understand my gifts, and as part of my desire to support my children and myself to heal from the trauma of a family breakdown that included family violence. Shortly after leaving the marriage, I received a cancer scare, and the type of cancer that I was suspected to have was hereditary. So I was very concerned that I would be leaving my children motherless and without family support. I wanted to harness the skills of communication so that I could assist and support them beyond the grave, so to speak. So that I don't mislead people here, I was never actually diagnosed with cancer. I lived with the maybe of it for about 2 months due to my location and lack of facilities before finding out that I simply needed to be monitored. So Anna Pirelli is a feather name, and it's designed to protect the identities of my family members. And I realise that people may recognise my voice, and I ask that they respect the privacy and confidentiality of all of us. I believe that by sharing my experiences with as minimal of filtering as possible is the most helpful way to share my knowledge and wisdom, and I thank you in advance for respecting this. So I'm defined as a psychic medium because while I do have mediumship abilities, I don't use the full range of clairs, which a full-blown medium does. The list on the slide are the gifts that I draw upon, and not necessarily all on the same day. No two services are the same, and I do not make guarantees that I can connect with a specific spirit. Spirit chooses the messenger and not the other way round. I also use tools such as my well-worn tarot, colour oracles, crystals, oracles and the stones, and other tools as I feel guided. My one-to-one services are defined as guided because I connect to the guides before delivering them. So why am I freely sharing information that I've been compiling for the last nearly 25 years? and the rest is probably the most likely question on your lips. Well, in answer, I suspect it's not just a core personality trait of gifting, but also embedded in my numerology of the day number 22 and the ruling number of 33. These carry the vibration of the visionary or big picture type person and the vibration of humanitarian and activism. So it feels to me like a moral obligation, especially in the current crazy times. On the other hand, I do love to see people rise above their problems, much like the phoenix rising from the ashes. You can access free information and resources on my YouTube channel, and it will be delivered in a range of ways: videos, podcasts, and lives. There are future plans for loading content across social media platforms and other channels, and I also hope to do some live demonstrations, so let's remain open-minded and let the process unfold. If there is a particular subject that you're interested in and you want to see it prioritised, please leave a comment under the video, and I can guarantee that I will read all of them, but I may not have time to respond to all of them. So if you're liking the planned direction of the channel, just a reminder to subscribe and click the bell to get notified when the content is uploaded, or to participate in future lives. As a business, there is just little on me working on it, so I am not hoping to suddenly have 3,000 people booking consults with me. There are limitations